Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now the end of April of 2021, and ever since the very end of The Mandalorian Season 2's finale, a lot of fans around the world have been very much intrigued about what's to come by both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni for this new Star Wars universe. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one great thing about Star Wars right now is that, well, we are seeing this beautiful transition. We have the Kenobi TV series, we've got the Ahsoka Tano TV series, and we've got the Mandalorian Season 3 and 4, mind you, being worked on back to back. So that's another thing to look forward to, is that this entire Star Wars universe is really going to lend a lot of excitement to the Star Wars fans. Now, granted, yes, we do know that the GINA CARANO firing was a very big problem by Disney and Lucasfilm. They shouldn't have done that, especially Kathleen Kennedy shouldn't have allowed that to even happen on the way that she fired her. That was absolutely disgusting in my book. But when we go ahead and examine what's been going on behind the scenes, alright, we obviously know that they have already over a dozen Star Wars projects in the works. They're also looking forward to actually announcing new Star Wars TV shows this fall. Keep your eyes open for that. And more TV shows getting announced in 2022 over at Star Wars Celebration. So that's another thing to look forward to. Now, on top of all of this, we do know that John, Dave, and George are all working together as a team to really satisfy the entire Star Wars fandom. This comes at no surprise because they're going to be drawing a lot from Star Wars Legends and everything that there has to be with the expanded universe back from the 1990s and the early 2000s. A lot of that is going to be incorporated into this new expanded universe, if you will. So with that being said, of course, what's really intriguing all has to do with, of course, Jon Favreau and exactly Kathleen Kennedy and exactly where she stands right now. Now, specifically, of course, now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are focused on their new Star Wars universe, with both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, it's described that currently Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy is having a major problem behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm, with the higher-ups over at Disney. Now, such as the board members that are against Kathleen Kennedy and her direction for the Star Wars franchise, it's described that Kennedy was actually working on a Star Wars project aside from Star Wars The Acolyte for the longest time, and that was going to be yet another standalone Star Wars movie that was going to take place in a brand new era of the franchise. Now, it's described that the higher-ups over at Disney, including Disney CEO Bob Chapek, recently fired Kathleen Kennedy from this project that was going to focus more so on the character of Darth Plagueis and other dark side-oriented characters in the Star Wars world that would actually take place just months after the end of the High Republic era. So keep in mind, this new era was going to be a post-High Republic era. Now, Kennedy's plan was to essentially retcon many aspects of Darth Plagueis in this new project for Lucasfilm, until recently after Kennedy fired GINA CARANO in the worst way possible. Disney's higher-ups eventually fired Kathleen Kennedy just recently from the standalone Star Wars project that was going to actually be a feature-length animated film focusing on a post-High Republic era and the rise of Darth Plagueis the Wise. Now, since her firing from the project, it's noted that other creators will be transferring this idea into a live-action Star Wars TV series, where Jon Favreau is described to have a significant connection to just that. So, let's go over this for just a second. Now, this is a very interesting development and progression. We obviously know that a lot of Star Wars fans out there are very much upset with what happened with Star Wars overall. Obviously, a lot of fans have been very much angry of what happened with GINA CARANO's firing, and not just that, exactly how she was fired. That was the other big deal. In my book, GINA CARANO did nothing wrong. You guys can disagree with me, that's perfectly fine. But in my book, GINA CARANO did absolutely nothing wrong. She made an analogy. It may have not, really agreed with a lot of people out there that disagreed with GINA, and that's fine. Everybody has their opinions. Everybody out there has the right to not agree with GINA's take on that analogy that she posted on Twitter. But like I say, when we go ahead and look at Kathleen Kennedy, this is a great big move. It's a great win on the Star Wars fandom side, because this would have truly defeated the purpose of the character of Darth Plagueis. The fact that she wanted to retcon the character, the fact that she also was aiming to really retcon that major historic moment in between Episode 1 and the High Republic timeline. Now, in the old legends, alright, we do learn a little bit more about this era. This is the era in which it all takes place before Episode 1, by the way. Kathleen Kennedy was going to give it a brand new name, or its own name, if you will, and was going to completely change the story of Darth Plagueis. So, I don't think that that would have been a really good idea to begin with. But overall, the other thing about this that really worries some fans is that what's going to happen now with the live-action TV series that is being thrown into development that's going to be based loosely off of Kathleen Kennedy's treatment of this new timeline that's going to take place between the High Republic and Episode 1. Obviously, there's nothing to worry about because this is going to be a show that takes place just before Episode 1, showing us the rise of Darth Plagueis and a young Palpatine and more. We talked about this lightly a couple of weeks ago. It's going to be very exciting to see and witness on the big screen, or should I say at home on the streaming service small screen. But I think that overall, guys, Disney knows what they're doing. They know what the fans want to see when it comes to Star Wars. This is obviously taking a lot of ideas from James Luceno. I don't know if you guys have read his books, but he does an amazing job with the overall Star Wars franchise and what it really means for the overall fandom. I think that obviously when we go ahead and check out what they've been doing for the past couple of years, what they're setting up for Star Wars Legends, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and George Lucas, they really do have a lot on their plate. They absolutely do, without question. You know, they have not just over a dozen projects, but they have more projects coming their way that's going to be announced this fall, leading into next year of 2022 at Celebration. The other thing is this that I think a lot of fans need to know that's very intriguing in my point of view, is the fact that, yes, given that Kathleen Kennedy is still attached to the High Republic era, and is still attached to the Star Wars The Acolyte series, after that, pretty much she's done with her creative power. You know, George, John, and Dave, they can retcon anything that they want of what Kathleen Kennedy creates in the Acolyte TV series. So, a lot of people have always been questioning me, Mike, you know, are you worried about the Acolyte, or as a lot of people out there like to call it, the Hackolyte? I always say, no, I'm not worried about it at all. Absolutely not, because, look, Kathleen Kennedy's going to do a lot of retcons to the prequel trilogy in the Acolyte series, and hey, George, John, and Dave, they can easily just reverse that once she is no longer taking control of Star Wars The Acolyte TV series. So like I've said, guys, you know, I think that obviously everything related to what's been going on for the past couple of months now, a lot of fans are still very much worried about what's happening with Star Wars, what's going on with GINA Carano. There's still a lot of negotiations of bringing her back into either Mando Season 3 or 4. So this May, there's going to be a big meeting between Jon Favreau and the higher-ups over at Disney about GINA's return into Star Wars. Again, it's very unlikely it's going to happen in Season 3, but more so for Season 4. And even if that, we're not quite sure how significant her role is actually going to be in that. So, like I've said before in the past, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.